What's up, Richmond, and welcome to another episode of Living in Richmond. And today I thought I would take it totally off script and totally off the board here and talk about the 5 worst things about Richmond. That's right, the 5 worst things. And you might be thinking, hey, worst things? What is bad or worse about living in Richmond? Like, Richmond is the most beautiful city in the world. That's why we live here. And you are correct. But hey, there are 5 things that are annoying to some for sure, and especially annoying to some that are moving to Richmond. So hey, if you're planning on moving into Richmond, you're going to want to check this out because hey, not every city is perfect. So let's kick it off with number 1. The streets can be confusing when you're not on the main road. So what do I mean by that? Well, I was just actually at a networking event earlier this morning, and I was talking with a person there, and they were asking me where I lived, and I said, hey, I live in Richmond. And they said, oh my goodness, it's so confusing. Every time I drive in Richmond, I get lost. And I thought about it. I'm like, I thought Richmond was, no, okay, yes, you are right, because you look at cities like Surrey, for example, it's got, avenues going one way and streets going the other way, so it's gridded, makes it really simple. Now, Richmond is gridded when it comes to, our streets going north to south and east to west, like Westminster Highway and number 1 road and 2 road and Gilbert and things like that. Makes it simple. But once you get off that main road and into the neighborhoods, that's when it becomes really confusing because it's not gridded in those neighborhoods. You can have dead ends, you can have S-curves, you can have cul-de-sacs, so it can be really confusing to somebody that doesn't live in Richmond. So number 1 is definitely, when you're off those main roads, it does become confusing. Now, number 2 is one that's talked about quite often, not only with people living in Richmond, but people living in Ladner, and you're probably guessing what I'm talking about, and that is the tunnel traffic. That's right. Tunnel traffic can be quite annoying to a lot of people, especially if you're wanting to leave Richmond and get into Ladner, or vice versa, Ladner into Richmond between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. or even 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. During the rush hour times, it can get really backed up. So, yes, they have done a great job at implementing a counterflow system. But when you're going the other way and there's only one lane, it can be really difficult. So hey, we do have a twin tunnel coming in, which will be built hopefully by 2030. But you never know if that could be delayed, like the bridge was. Not saying anything, but yes, the tunnel traffic can be really annoying, and that is definitely our number 2. Now, number 3, and sticking with the traffic theme here, is we're pretty far away from Highway 1. Highway 1 is our, number 1 highway here, no pun intended. So you can pretty much go from Highway 1, Vancouver, all the way down to Quebec if you really wanted to. But Richmond is quite far away from it. It's going to take you at least 45 minutes to get there. Now, that's actually a lot better compared to what it used to be over 10 years ago, because now we've got, you get through the tunnel and you jump onto that new Highway 17 connector. It can connect you right through to Highway 1 from 176 in Surrey. So it has gotten better, but we are far away from Highway 1. And if you're a family like ours that likes to road trip or camp out in, Chilliwack or Cultus Lake area, it does create some headaches in times when you do want to get out there, especially on a Friday of a long weekend. You're trying to, you're stuck in that tunnel traffic for 45 minutes. Then you got to get out to the Highway 1 and find your way out there, which can cause some problems. So number 3 is definitely you're far away from Highway number 1. Now, number 4 is another one with the traffic theme here. Bridges, 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 bridges. I don't think I even counted for all the bridges going out of Richmond. Yes, we got a lot of bridges. We're an island here in Richmond. So the only way in or out of Richmond is by one of the bridges or by the tunnel that we just talked about. So during the rush hour time, because that's the only way in and out, the rush hour does cause issues going over those bridges in or out of Richmond. So that can definitely be, a delay to some people. So, if you are traveling, you want to really, time your ins and out of Richmond, not during the rush hour time. And carpool if you can. Carpooling is such a great way to get in and out a little bit quicker if you can, and of course helps everybody else out as well if we can all carpool. Now, number 5, last but not least, is one that gets brought up all the time, and I'm gonna do a special shout out to my buddy Darren, who always bugs me about living in Richmond. He thinks we're going to flood one day, and that's our concern. Number 5 is we're below sea level, which yes, we are. This is why we have a whole dike system, 50 kilometers of dike system all the way around Richmond here, which protects us from any type of flooding that could happen. Now, is this a concern? Of course it is. Yes, of course, but the one thing that we have that most cities do not have in and around the Lower Mainland here is that we're protected by not only the dikes, we're also protected by 39 pump stations. You might be thinking, what's a pump station? Well, if you look at, like, say for example, the north end of number 1 road, there's this big facility there, kind of like, you don't know, a lot of people, if they don't live in Richmond, they don't know what it is, but actually that is a pump system that if water was to come in, that would pump the water back out into the river. And Richmond has 39 of those. You know, how many cities out there in the Lower Mainland even have one of these? Probably not many. So we got 39 of them protecting us from floods. And of course, Richmond has sensors, numerous sensors all around the city that would sensor any type of flooding and protect us right away. So, you know, I'm not personally nervous about flooding at all. I've lived here all my life, 44 years, and have never had any issues with flooding. Yeah, there we go. That's the top 5 worst things about living in Richmond. Now, we've also got a video of our top 10 reasons why you want to move to Richmond, so be sure to check out that. And hey, if you haven't liked or subscribed to our channel, please do. And if you're thinking about living in Richmond or moving to Richmond, reach out to me at 604-961-5860. I'd love to show you all the great restaurants and the great things about living in Richmond, as I've been born and raised here, and love to show you all the sneak peeks of what Richmond has to offer. So thanks so much for watching, everybody, and have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.